Hello and welcome to another StarCraft 2 co-op video. Today we'll be looking at another post from a Chinese forum about the upcoming mutation. A relatively easy mutation. The biggest victims are probably those who rely on army units and those who will lose if they don't destroy enough houses within a certain amount of time, for example art. Mag mines might be on the outside behind the minerals. If you see these, clear them during the first day to prevent from having to regroup your workers after forgetting about it while you're having fun chopping down huts. These mutators primarily affect pushing. They don't affect defense. If your units are outside destroying houses, you might not be able to dodge mines due to blizzards, resulting in you having to regroup your forces. To put it another way, as long as you don't need to go outside, it's a regular brutal. As such, commander choice will become more obvious. Recommended commanders makes P1, P3 the best answer to this mutation. He can attack and defend, mass ESOs, mass bunkers, fire the ESOs, win. Aside from triggering mag mines near the minerals and entrances, the rest is just regular brutal. Han Horners, building destruction specialists on Dawn. However, using strike fighters will trigger all the mag mines in their path. Be careful not to let them hit your ally. With P1, you can drop your own mag mines to take the hit before the enemies explode. Karax P3. After playing a few times, the outermost unpathable terrain pretty much has no mag mines. It seems that the outermost sides don't have mines. Observers can be outside and fire lance all the buildings. You're trapped at home. If the ops are in a blizzard, repair beam can outlast it. However, be careful about mines from outside the base blasting your towers at the entrances. The week after is Chain of Ascension Avenger Void Reanimators. There's already a lot of pressure during Chain's early game, so the difficulty should be pretty high. Unless I can brute forcefully defend everything or quickly full clear, since I'm more afraid of Reanimators than Rifts, I will take a dive after listing next week's mutators. Basically, go in hiding. I'll be honest, this week is considered a regular brutal except that you have to slow down a bit. However, there's one commander that can only do half of the work. I recommend using air units to trigger the mag mines. They aren't restricted by the terrain and can return anytime. Return home. Rainer, primarily responsible for defense, bunkers, turrets, and tanks. If there are spotters, add a few Vikings and manually target them. If there are stanks, ask your ally for help. Kerrigan, hero unit attacks. Lurkers help with defense. Even though she's a free-to-play commander, her hero unit's power is pretty strong. Artanis, Tempest, snipe huts, zealots trigger mines, that's all. Swan, defend as usual and you win. Zagara, can attack and defend. Hero unit goes out to play, bio launchers blast the entrances. Make some Banes and Scourge to defend against the attack waves and special infested. Karax, just don't pick P2, the rest is just the usual. Nova, dodge mines and play like usual. Liberators and tanks stay at home to guard the entrances. Abathur, P2 swarm hosts and brutalists. If a unit gets in, it's considered a loss for you. Vorazun, oracles poke huts and then run. Use dark pylons at home and help your ally lock the doors. Han Horner, strike fighters fly over. If the enemy is Terran, remember to take out marines and bunkers first. Stukov, station bunkers, tanks, and liberators at the entrances. Alarak, solo with mothership. It's cold outside. The High Lord is really merciful. Have the supplicants stay at home and keep the fire going. The mothership goes on offense alone, for sure. Tychus, regular brutal. Dahaka, regular brutal. Same as Han Horner and Alarak, all his units stay home. Hero unit and pack leaders have fun outside. Phoenix, strictly speaking, not recommended. However, the Rock Slapper runs fast, so it's doable. Manx, regular brutal. Manx doesn't really need to go outside on this map to begin with. Use both big top bars and everything will be flattened. Stetman, ally goes on offense, then use P2 and defend at home with lurkers and hydras. If your ally defends, use P1 and swarm the buildings with lings. Zeratul, regular brutal. After listening, I'm motivated. I want to use Artanis. The following is theory crafting. P3, go around with Tempest. Although you can rely on your ally for defense, without UFs, the inner huts are really hard to hit. The plan is to ensure the safety of the Tempest. However, on Dawn, you really need UFs. Aside from using 2 shield overcharges on the 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock bases, you really need to avoid wasting energy. During day 1, use 1 to 2 workers to trigger the mines in the surrounding area. During day 2, make zealots with your spare minerals, right-click them into bases to trigger mines, primarily the inner area of 7 o'clock, the outer area of 5 o'clock, and the 11 and 12 o'clock bases. Make a Stargate and Fleet Beacon, then a Robo. Put an Ops in its own control group and keep it in front of the main army to trigger mines ahead of Tempest. During night 1, consider returning home from 5 o'clock. I don't know what this means. If your ally can't defend, Artanis only has 2 nights on this map. Plan your routes. You have to destroy all the buildings by night 3. Massing workers and giving them all shield overcharge to stall isn't a bad idea. I have not thought of this before. That's pretty clever. Okay. Yes, the main effect is slowing you down. However, some commanders on Dawn will die if they are slow and don't hide buildings to stall unless their ally just happens to be good at playing the long game. Next one, are you insulting Artanis? Be braver. In the end, this is caused by the commander's special traits. Looking at Raynor's units and tech, he's better at defense. Kerrigan, in contrast, is good at offense. And Artanis, who regroups his forces every day, is good at neither. What he's good at is prolonged fights with the enemy. So on Dawn, where offense and defense frequently switch, Artanis is considered to be good at neither. I don't play Raynor, so I'm not sure. I feel that Kerrigan, Zagara, Vorazun, Hanhorner, and Phoenix P2 are this type. They take out their blades. I think that's the translation. It's just that the latter 4 are good at destroying structures quickly. Those who don't know how to play them will destroy structures slowly. On the 3rd night, the infested will come from all angles and flood into the base. Then these players will start to see the look on their allies' face. If there are mutators that increase the pressure on defense, then there's an argument. However, there are no such mutators in this mutation. If you can't even put up a basic defense, just don't play this mutation. Also, for the 5 offense commanders you mentioned, there are advantages for the latter 4 when they leave their army at home. Zagara has biolaunchers and Bane's Scourge. They can save your allies' resources so he can deal with the special infested Nidus Worms, Stanks, and attack waves. As long as you set the time, I don't know if that's right. You can have the biolaunchers continuously blast the area in front, greatly reducing the pressure on your allies' defense. Vorazun has Corsairs, Disruption Web, Dark Pylon Wall, Void, and the Void Rays Focus Fire. She can also time stop Black Hole and have a sea of DTs to deal with the high pressure at the entrances. Hanhorner has a bit harder time comparatively, but only a little. Wraiths clear the regular enemies, BCs focus fire, Hellions slow the enemies, Ravens stare at the enemies menacingly. As long as Amon doesn't use Zelnaga Olive bugs, which I think are chokers, because Hanhorner doesn't have any units that exceed 8 range. Phoenix P2 needs his ally to reduce the defensive pressure. Then clear the buildings in a predetermined order and control the numbers at each entrance. This way you can focus on the heroes battling and defense will be easier. And Artanis, Zealots are one-use units, Dragoons are stupid with their shots, High Templars are limited by energy, Archons have short range, Immortals' shields are too thin, Reaver's splash is too small. Tempest's attack speed is slow, Phoenix's can't lift everything. Simply put, he pretty much can't defeat the sea of Infested's attacks. As far as I know, COA and DON have the highest rates of failure on regular Brutal, the former because of the bug T5 wave, the latter because of slow pushing resulting in immense pressure from the infested starting from night 3. Normally by night 3 I'm almost done clearing all the buildings, so even without base trading, there isn't that much pressure on defense, so when you ask me how I defended, I have also forgotten. Much easier than last time's Black Death Speed Freaks one. Raynor can consider going P3 Banshees and Vikings into PCs. Kerrigan can make some Brewlords or Lurkers to help with defense. For regular Brutal, you actually can just make Mutas to help with defense. Artanis, watch Moi's run. For other commanders, there isn't much else to note. The faster you clear, the better. With these mutators, you can't really attack at night, so unless there are some bugs, return home at night. After all, the bonus doesn't come out until the 3rd night. I main Carax, so that pretty much means this is pretty much regular Bruto. Oh, it's too good. So good. Artanis actually played for 40 minutes without hiding structures. Artanis' units are strong. When huts are attacked at night, they will produce extra infested. In comparison, you don't need to fight the infested during the daytime, so the strength of the encampments decreases dramatically. So in regular Brutal, you can attack in two directions. First, you have to learn to mass units at night and research upgrades, not use your units to mess with aim on. If you can't have both people attack at the same time, switch up the plan. Decide on who will primarily attack and who will primarily defend based on the commander's characteristics. During the daytime, destroy the huts based on a predetermined order. At night, defend together home based on the number of buildings left. Often, people lose because they can't mass enough units and they don't make enough defenses. If it's someone from another server, it might be because they just simply suck. Otherwise, it won't be called brutal. However, if it's a player from the Chinese server, I can only say that he hasn't gotten the experience from the Co-op Knowledge Bureau, which is a guy who makes lots of advanced high-level co-op guides. I think that's what this says. You already know that if he can't defend and you're still out and about by yourself, you're only going to waste all the resources that you will use to attack. So what the hell are you even doing? So this is pretty much saying, if you know your ally sucks, just don't do anything wasteful. This one, next one. You pros, don't bring Artanis up to a level that he doesn't belong. Don't look at me, I play Raynor. Also, I have never aspired to beat high-level stuff. I just want to beat high-level stuff using the easiest methods. Alright? I think it can't be that easy because Raynor needs NOCs dropping mules, he doesn't have a top bar that clears an area, and he doesn't regen HP naturally. I've played co-op for so many years. When my condition is good, I'll play Alarak or Vorzud. For Raynor, aside from floating base cheese, I don't even want to play him. It's too much trouble. This next one, this guy, he says, I play on the NA server. That's why the term I use is, if they don't take out their blades, they'll see their allies' faces. It's not like other regular Brutal maps where you just play your best and the mission's length and pacing are fixed. Besides, allies who intentionally don't push Janara or don't capture locks, they can do whatever they want. I play something. I don't go out poking huts during the first 2 nights. When it gets to the 3rd night, if there are a few buildings left, I base trade and finish the mission. I only try hard starting from the 4th night. I think that's what it is. Usually my ally will put something at the entrance during the first night, so I will clear clockwise. If few buildings along the entrances in the counterclockwise direction have been taken out, they will put pressure on the front door during night 2. In the end, something pressure will be reduced. Actually, as long as your micro threshold doesn't reach your EPM limit and the head-on factors don't reach the upper limit, I don't know what that means, this can be pretty easy. The key is that Raynor's upper limit is always AI choice devouring scourge. Yes, most players on NA will listen. If your English is good, you can teach them what to do and they'll do it. The best way is to play using the fewest variables in terms of choices. Reduce the number of choices. Yes, but on the premise that it's a one-time move. For example, on MO, I stuffed a spawn and told my ally to stay away from the ramps and he listened. But in Brutal Plus, Orbital Strike on Temple, I said don't go near the temple even if you're just passing by. He listened for a few minutes and then later on he just kept right-clicking the path near the temple. The ally walked by several times and the temple was destroyed. So now if I encounter Orbital Strike on Temple in Brutal Plus, I have to ask myself whether or not I want to continue playing. If you don't take smart casting into consideration, my APM is at most 90 to 100. I feel stressed even when I continuously rain troopers and build ESOs as Menks. So I haven't tried using Menks against Rifts because I can't press buttons fast enough. And then second page of responses today. For Menks against Rifts in a duel, you can ask your ally to help take out some Rifts, make some ESOs, and then blast the Rifts. I know that's what you do, but I have not soloed it before. I feel that it's less forgiving than Backwater Marshal. Maybe if I get used to the build order, it'll be better. These past few days, I've played this mutation with all commanders in duels. The conclusion is, one of the commanders must have a strong defense. 2. You only use a small group when attacking. The majority of the army must defend against stanks at home. 3. If possible, only attack the huts. Don't engage in battles with the enemies there. 4. You must take the high ground at home. 5. Any commander that has a strong defense will have enough resources by night 3 to defend all the entrances. And the easiest commander combo for this is Swan plus Han Horner. One makes towers and tanks, the other just blasts huts. Strong defense commanders include Raynor, tanks, bunkers, turrets, extra supply goes to BCs to snipe huts. Swan, tanks and towers, extra supply goes to wraiths to focus down enemies. Karax, sea of cannons and monoliths, P1 chrono can insta-kill stanks. Stukov, P3 tank bunker, P1 sea of tanks. Manx, armed troopers plus tanks. If your ally defends, you can focus on going on offense with ESOs. Zeratul, cannons are robust after you get enough artifact fragments with P2. The area inside the bases isn't affected by Blizzard on Dawn, right? Right. That's why defense is pretty much unaffected. 2 Hellions hold position at the front, make a sim city. Get 10 strike fighters, then add galleons, Hellions, Reapers. During day 3, Reapers jump over the cliffs and destroy an area. By night, you should be finished. You can even leave a few strike fighters for the special infested. Dog Emperor. Go. Another mutation where I can practice speed burning with Lone Wolf. And that's it for this post. What advice do you have for this mutation? Comment it down below and I'll see you next time.